Hey Star Wars fans, welcome back. Did you know that the Obi Wan Kenobi series was supposed to be a trilogy? This is an exclusive from Nathan Johnson at The Direct, and it's with the original Obi Wan Kenobi trilogy writer Stuart Beattie. This is kind of unbelievable. He essentially is credited with writing episodes, I think 1, 2, and 3, and then the finale. So is given a lot of credit here for the original work that he did on the first film of a trilogy. So to folks who are wondering, hey, are we going to have a second season? Are we going to have maybe a third season? I think the answer is yes. And this again is an exclusive that I just find fascinating. I'll throw the article up here on the screen so you guys can kind of take a look at this as we read through it. I want to highlight a few points. I think it's just kind of unbelievable. I never thought that we would get this. There was all sorts of rumors about an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. Some people believe that a movie maybe would have been better. It might have felt a bit stretched. All in all, I actually really ended up liking the series a lot, and I love the finale. I actually love episode 5. So even the stretching or these elements in which we have flashbacks, I still think were great. You know, I really enjoyed it. But let's go ahead and go over some of this real quick just to talk about really what this original trilogy was supposed to be about. So Stuart goes on to say, I wrote the film that they were based on. All right, so he wrote the film that the TV series was based on. So I spent a year and a half working on this, and then when the decision was made not to do any more spin-off films after Solo came out, I left the project and I went on to other things. Joby came on, took my scripts and turned that into from a 2-hour thing into 6. So I did not work with them at all. I just got credit for the episodes because it was all my stuff. So this is just, I guess, the idea that this was supposed to be a movie and a trilogy is mind-blowing. And they tabled it because of Solo. I don't know. I have mixed thoughts on it. I understand that it came out, didn't do well. I thought the actors were good. I enjoyed it. I think it's a great movie. And it just sort of feels, it's in a weird place. You know, it's kind of hard to describe. I actually would love to see a Solo too. So I think a lot of Star Wars fans actually kind of enjoyed Solo. We just didn't go out and watch it in the box office. Doggone it. You know, maybe we should have. But anyways, the whole point is that because of that performance, they halt this whole thing. They put it on hold. They start to kind of slow down. They start to reevaluate stuff. And Bob Iger came out and talked about that, right? And said that they had to kind of slow down and reevaluate where they were going. So the Stuart goes on to kind of talk about what he pitched to Lucasfilm, right? So when I pitched my Obi-Wan story to Lucasfilm, I said, there's actually 3 stories here. 3. This is why we have a trilogy, okay? So we have 3. Or the original idea was that there was going to be a trilogy. Because there's 3 different evolutions that the character has to make in order to go from Obi-Wan to Ben. And the first one was the first movie, which was the show. So essentially what we saw in the show is what would have been Stuart Beattie's first movie. Okay, and the idea behind that was surrender to the will of the Force. Transport your will, surrender your will, leave the kid alone. That's exactly what we saw, which was Obi-Wan sort of coming to the idea that it's okay. I mean, at the end, he's totally accepted that the future will take care of itself. Right? That the Force will guide. He had to kind of surrender to that, find peace, I guess, in the idea that like what is going to come will come. And having all this sort of control and trying to manipulate things or whatever is really kind of what the Jedi get in trouble with in the beginning. Listening to the Force, and as Qui-Gon said, the living Force is really what they should have been doing more so of. So, but yeah, that first act would have been surrender to the will of the Force, transport your will, surrender your will, leave the kid alone. It's just wild. So then the second movie was thinking about where Kenobi ends up. And one of the most powerful and probably the most powerful moments in all of Obi-Wan's story is that moment where he sacrifices himself in A New Hope. So this is all coming to terms with his own mortality and understanding that, you know, he's going to have to, ultimately, we know he sacrifices himself in this Death Star scene, right? This battle against Darth Vader. So you need some sort of a moment where he's built up about that. He's thought about this. He's prepared with it, trained for it with Qui-Gon. So it's a great moment. He goes on to say it's a great moment. You know it. It makes you cry. But if you stop and think about it, it's a pretty sudden thing to just go from being this fighting guy to see Luke and then go, oh, I'm going to die. That, to me, that required forethought. That required pre-acceptance that this was going to happen. So that's huge. He basically kind of outlines what really a season 2 would be. I think they can expand upon that. These things go through multiple drafts and stuff. And but it's the idea is there. And I even think he goes on to say somewhere that he wouldn't, you know, if a second movie or a second season were to come out, he would want to be involved, you know, and help out in the writing process on this. I just think it's fascinating to think that could be where we go. Clearly, at the end of this, they set us up they left it all wide open. I mean, he actually leaves the planet to go check on Leia, make sure she got back, talk with her, share some words of wisdom, then go back, and he's kind of saying to Uncle Owen, you got this. You and Aunt Beru are everything that he needs, and all is well here. I'll be around. but he's off, and then he sees his master, and he's sort of like surrendered to the will of the Force, and therefore he sees Qui-Gon, and it's time to move on. I just think it's awesome. So the article, it doesn't really contain a premise or a theme or an idea, right, for the third and the final movie, but we're still, I mean, again, that was a lot of work just to work on the first. This person was writing, so Stuart was writing the first movie, which again they credit him for in the first season of Kenobi. I'm gonna start saying first season now because it's like this thing's looking like it's gonna get more than one season, and so I just think it's wild. And it's wild also that like Solo is the thing that kind of kept us from maybe getting a trilogy. So I don't know. I wanted to come on and just put this out there and maybe get some feelers out in terms of what you guys think. You know, would you have liked to have seen a movie? I'm happy we got the series. I'm happy we got Obi-Wan, that Ewan's in on this, Hayden's in on this. They seem to want to do a season 2, and now kind of seeing that they had outlined this trilogy for us, I'm like, let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's really go after it and explore it. I think it can work. So the next act is really kind of setting oneself up or becoming, you know, one with the Force, understanding the Force in ways we hadn't seen before, working with Qui-Gon and so on. I feel like it could be awesome. I, again, love the Kenobi series. Very happy that we have it and just want to see more. So really my big takeaway from this article was that clearly there's more. There was a plan at some point to start working towards a trilogy in this whole thing, an Obi Wan Kenobi trilogy movie arc. That is just wild to me. So now give me 3 seasons of Obi-Wan and I'm good. That would be amazing. That'd be more. I never thought, I wasn't even so sure we were going to get this first season, so it just would be quite interesting. So all right, friends, thanks so much again. Leave me that comment down below. Let me know what you think. Please like, please subscribe, and as always, may the Force be with you.